So a couple years ago, I was tasked with the logistical challenge of planting close to 9,000 acres using 5 planters across 9 different farms. That's a lot of planters, so the acreage amount is believable, but the harder part of this was I didn't have a way to efficiently measure how we were performing as the planters moved from field to field. Without this knowledge, it was pretty challenging to communicate with other farmers on what timeline they could expect from us, so I had an idea. The concept was pretty simple at the time. I just needed to know what our acres per hour was, and then I could calculate how long it would take us to get to that field. It worked really well for the 1 or 2 fields that we were going to go to after the one we were on, but problem was I'd get a call from a farmer who was 10 fields down the list and wanted to know when we were going to be there, and I really didn't have an answer for him, and so I would just take my best guess. At the end of the day, it turned out to just be a lot of repetitive math, me pulling out my phone and my calculator to calculate how long it would take us to get there. So what if I was to model this in Excel, and then Excel could generate a schedule for me? The idea is similar to Google Maps. In Google Maps, you have a point A and a point B, and then the computer is going to calculate what the speed limit is along your route, and with that, it can then determine what your estimated time of arrival is. With that same concept in mind, if I know what my acres per hour is, then I should be able to calculate a schedule and be able to tell in a list of fields how long it's going to take me to get there. As you can imagine, I ran into quite a lot of challenges before coming up with the model that I'm going to show you today, but we'll dive in and I'll show you what I came up with. Alright, so number one, I'm going to show you how to set up the spreadsheet. So everything from setting up your own fields with their corresponding information, setting up your schedule data, and then setting up your machine parameters. Number two, I'll walk you through how to keep track of your field by field progress and enter, finish, and start times. Number three, I'm going to show you how the spreadsheet analyzes your current progress to constantly project an updated schedule and see how different scenarios will have an effect on your efficiency. At the end, I'll show you some tips and tricks that I have used in this spreadsheet to then see key metrics from the data that is generated from the scheduler. Some of these tips include selecting fields and then seeing their corresponding information as far as projected times and completed times. Next, I'll show you how I'm able to group each farm and see their progress and their expected time to finish. In the schedule table, I have a list of fields, and I've tried to put as much information as I can in here because you can use this later if you need to sort by farm or variety or crop that you're planting. Once I put a list of fields in, I want to come over here to my schedule parameters. When I don't have a field in progress, I need to tell Excel what time I intend to start my work. In this case, I'm going to start on the 16th of September. I'm going to put in my day start, so this is the time that I expect to start each day. I can put in a lunch start and lunch end if desired, but in this case I'm not going to, and then day end. And this is important because if you start a field and aren't able to finish it in time, Excel will pass that field over to the next day and then continue to work and show you an estimated time of finish. I have an exclusion here. You can exclude days, so if you're going to work all 7 days, you can just delete everything out of it. If you're only going to exclude Sunday, then just select the excluded day and then it will exclude it from your schedule. Now we're going to walk you through the field by field progress. I have a column named status, and as I complete fields, I can put the status of that field. If I want to put on the schedule, then I'm simply just going to select schedule for that field, and then Excel will put that on the schedule in this order of the table. And this last column is the expected time of arrival. As I complete fields, then Excel is going to convert it to the finish time. If the field is in progress, then Excel is going to show the expected time to finish of that field. So we'll say that I have completed a few of these fields, and then I have an in progress field. When I come over here to field detail, you can see that I've already put some times in. As I put these times in, Excel is going to calculate the amount of hours that we worked in that field based on the schedule that we input at the beginning. At the bottom, you can see it's giving us a total acres that we've completed, as well as how much time did it take us to complete those acres. When you divide that out, it's then going to give you acres per hour, and that is the metric that is used to project the rest of the schedule, which you'll find in this table under scheduled fields. It's using that metric to now project how long it will take us to do each field, and then applying the parameters of the schedule to then project correctly when we will get to each field and when we will finish each one. One really powerful feature of this is because Excel has already calculated all the data for each field, I can now select any field and it will tell me what its status is and then what the expected start and finish time is for that field. The second thing I've done is because I've grouped these fields into farms, I can now select a farm and then see the status of that farm and when I can expect to finish all the fields that are in that group. So in this case, Monday, October 6th. Some of the custom formulas that I have in here are ones that I have created specifically for this workbook. You won't find these in your version of Excel, but if you have this spreadsheet, you can copy this formula into any spreadsheet you wish to use it, and then you'll have it forever in that spreadsheet to use for whatever application is necessary. If this is something that interests you, I'll leave a link in the description where you can go and take a look at this spreadsheet. In future videos, I'm going to show you how I use this in the real world, how I use this on the go, especially when there's not a lot of time in the day to sit down at a computer and put this data in. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll do a much deeper dive into how this spreadsheet was created and some of the strategies I used to get it to the utility that it is for me today. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.